Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I'm Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Now this video is months in the making. As many of you may know, I've been on this epic VR fitness journey. Can you get fit with the use of VR, specifically in my case, Supernatural VR? For me, that's a huge yes. My results have been amazing. I've lost 20 pounds and today I'm gonna go over everything, give you a review of Supernatural, compare it to traditional exercise and other VR applications. I'm gonna tell you everything I did as far as my diet. Hopefully I can educate and motivate you guys along the way. And I hope you enjoy this video because it's been a lot of fun to make. But before we jump in, this video is brought to you by Kiwi Design, one of my favorite sites for VR accessories. They just released some brand new Quest 2 hand straps that'll give you that Valve Index feel and allow you to completely let go of the controllers. They also have plenty of other accessories like controller weights for those of you who work out in VR, cable management systems, and my favorite accessory, their super durable and extra comfy Quest 2 Elite strap. There are links down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support this channel. Okay, so let's start this video off with what everybody wants, the reveal. Now I specifically wore this shirt because the last time I wore it on this channel, I looked like 2 pounds of bologna in a 1 pound bag. If I have some clips left, I'll do a side by side so you guys can compare. But let me start by showing you guys the amazing six-pack that VR has given me.
Had to tell her she should act right. She just wanna talk about the time we had last night.
Okay, so joking aside, here we have a side-by-side comparison. The left side photos were taken during my first week, specifically on January 3rd. I weighed 176 pounds at roughly 5'7", and if you trust one of those household body fat scanners, around 24% body fat. Now, I personally wouldn't rely on the accuracy of those scales, but let's just use it as a rough estimate. Now, the images on the right were actually taken about 4 months later, and I'm roughly 156 pounds at 15% body fat. Now, I do want to point out that after my 90-day workout experience, I actually spent 3 weeks recovering from unrelated surgery and then went on vacation for an additional 2 weeks. So these photos are basically after 6 weeks of not working out, where I just tried to maintain my overall weight loss. Now, during this process, I was also lifting weights and did make some significant strength gains. So before I get into the Supernatural review, I wanted to break down everything I did along this process. Now, historically, I've been in better than average shape, but I'm much older now. Your 40s definitely don't feel like your 20s, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to succeed on my goal of being fit in my 40s. Now, every fitness journey has 3 major components, and that is the diet, exercise, and consistency. I want to start things off with the one people struggle on the most, and that's the diet, which for me actually wasn't bad at all. There's a very basic formula for this. It's CICO, calories in versus calories out. So obviously, if your goal is to lose weight, you want to be expending more calories than you're taking in. Now that might be easier said than done for many people. I used an application or a website called Cronometer that gave me those rough numbers. I am 176 pounds roughly when I started this. It said I needed about 2,000 calories a day. So I'm going to be aiming for, something a little bit lower than that. I don't like to go too steep. You don't want to crash diet because that's just going to cause a binge. You're going to be hungry all day. Willpower will only get you so far. You want to develop sustainable eating goals. So a very small deficit for me, 10% of my, overall calories, which would put me down to like 1,800. And I usually ate between 1,800 and like 2,200 calories on a daily basis. The energy expenditure from the cardio from Supernatural will help when I'm, slightly above maintenance. But overall, that's a great place for me. And I was rarely ever hungry during this process. Now, the foods you eat will help with that a lot. Cronometer will also help you know your macro and micronutrition needs. So my goal every day was to fill those, to make sure I'm getting enough, vitamins, protein, carbohydrates, and fats. That was my main goal, obviously while staying within a, caloric range, but I also had to find foods that I enjoy eating and were also filling. Now, that might be rough for some people, but I enjoy a good salad. I enjoy things like Brussels sprouts, but I also made amazing meals along the way that I think anyone, no matter who you are, would enjoy. On screen, I have my daily caloric intake, so you guys can see. Some days I was hungrier than others, and I let myself eat a bit more. I needed that extra nutrition. Maybe I really pushed it in Supernatural or I pushed it in the gym. And, that's what I encourage too. Just get on the scale every day, track these numbers, see your progress. And that's the best way to handle your diet. I do not believe in exclusion diets. If someone tells you got to do keto or you can't eat bread or the classic, just eat chicken, broccoli, and rice, they are full of crap that is not sustainable, that will not help you in the long run. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, I am 6 to 7 weeks out from when I finished my heavier training. I had 3 weeks of surgery recovery where I was not exercising, and then 2 weeks of vacation where, I wasn't watching what I ate as much and even drinking a bit. And you see where my results are. I really didn't gain much from that because I developed these, healthy habits, and I'm able to maintain what I've attained over time. During this process, I really never felt like I was dieting and was rarely hungry. I got to eat every type of food I like. I ate steak, I ate eggs, potatoes, pasta. It's just, I limited how much I ate, and I was very aware of what I was eating. Now, I personally measured all my food. Or if, I had store-bought food, I used that Chronometer app and typed in the food, and it told me exactly how many calories I was eating. Obviously, it's always going to be off a degree, but it's a really good estimate. And I went as far as weighing everything, but now I don't anymore because now I'm more accustomed to looking at a food and going, okay, that's a 500 calorie meal, a 600 calorie meal. And I know I'm getting my, protein needs and everything. And as far as, if you're not getting what you need, should you supplement it? Not really. Your first choice should be like, hey, if I'm not getting enough vitamin C, add peppers into my diet. If I'm not getting enough vitamin K, add some spinach. That should be. But if you really can't stomach these foods, they're not palatable for you, whatever the case may be, sure, maybe some, vitamins or minerals should be introduced to your diet. But personally, I don't really take anything. I did extensive blood work and I'm good. Don't really need anything. My diet is looking pretty solid. Now, moving into exercise, you may have noticed that some days I eat above my caloric needs. Well, that's because due to strength training in the gym 4 times a week and doing Supernatural 7 days a week, I was probably burning something like 300 to 500 calories a day. So even eating above maintenance, subtracting, the energy expenditure from working out, I was still in a slight caloric deficit, basically every single day, which allowed me to continuously lose weight. Now, I personally believe in strength training. I think the benefits are twofold. One, it's going to help me keep an aesthetic look that I'm aiming for. I do like to carry a little bit more muscle, especially than I have right now on my frame. And on top of that, it's a really good measurement of if I'm not eating enough. If you are really dragging, you feel you can't complete your workouts, or if your strength is going down or plateauing, you might not be eating enough. So you want to maintain your muscle mass. It's going to help with your metabolism. You're going to look better. Overall, I highly recommend strength training. And like I said, I was able to continually gain strength while losing fat. So I must at least be maintaining my muscle, if not putting on a little bit, which is possible. You can lose fat and gain muscle at the same time, especially if you started off where I was. If you're overweight and undertrained, you can definitely do it. Supernatural was used as my cardio. I started off on the game's medium intensity program and did about 20 to 25 minutes a day. It was a pre-built 7-day program. One of those days you're actually just stretching, but that's what I did starting off for the first 4 weeks. Then starting on week 5, I went up to high intensity to about anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes a day. Again, one day just stretching or just doing something a bit lighter. Now, the best part of these Supernatural workouts is the fact that it didn't feel like a workout. They're fun. The flow, which is very similar to Beat Saber, I never said, oh, I don't want to work out today. I hated cardio in the past. And now it's like, all right, cool. I'm just going to go have fun. I'm going to play a game. It definitely elevates my heart rate and I break a sweat. And it's probably the easiest part. The weight training was definitely more of a challenge, but I enjoy that. I enjoy getting stronger. I enjoy lifting weights. Beat Saber was a breeze, and that's part of why I was able to stay so consistent, which is the third part of the journey. So my advice on consistency is just don't be in a rush. I know everyone wants to, overnight snap their fingers and have the perfect body, but life doesn't work that way. So I was able to develop some very easy, sustainable eating habits. I could stay consistent with that, no problem. The workouts, like I said, very easy. They're fun to jump into. That was, very easy to stay consistent with. Haven't been weightlifting right now for the past few weeks, but I have been doing Supernatural every day again. And then, a little bit more might be motivation, but don't beat yourself up. If you are having a day where you feel like you cannot, physically do it, don't push yourself through it, because that's going to make the aspect of working out something negative, which it's not. It's something extremely positive. So that's what you need to line up in place. You have to find exercise that you enjoy and eating habits that are absolutely sustainable, and don't feel like you're excluding things. I know we'd love to, wrap things in bacon and cover them in cheese. You could do that once in a while, but that's not an everyday meal. You have to understand that. And you can fit in meals that are delicious that you can eat every day. I have a filet mignon probably once a week. So the last thing you need to do is just keep track of your progress. How many calories you're taking in. You do daily weigh-ins at the same time of the day with the same amount of clothes on. In my case, no clothing. And, watch where your weight is going. And your weight won't do this. Your weight will go up and down. That is completely normal depending on how much you worked out in a day, what food you consumed. You're going to carry more or less water. Did you go to the bathroom, etc. So as long as it's going down over time, that's good. And don't go crazy that it's got to go down fast, because, half a pound a week or a pound a week is actually really good progress. You just, you won't see it if you're only weighing yourself once a week or, sporadically. You're not going to really be able to chart it. So you really need those numbers to watch where the graph is headed. And if you need to adjust accordingly, sure, maybe up your workout intensity a little bit or drop your calories a little bit more. And, you'll get there over time. Remember, you didn't put the weight on over the course of 1 week. So it's not going to come off in 1 week. Just remember that, stay motivated, and you'll get where you're going. So I guess the next most important topic is, how much do I attribute the Supernatural app to my overall success during this? And I would say at least 50%, mainly because the exercises were just so easy to jump into. I enjoyed doing them. Actually, doing the flow exercise early in the morning, I felt like, just got the cobwebs out of my head, energized not only my body, but my brain, and, really got me going for the day. So it's a really easy program to get into. And, for consistency's sake, that's extremely important. So I think this is the perfect time to basically give you guys an overview of Supernatural and my review on the product. So here's a quick summary of Supernatural. This is a VR fitness-based application. It does require both an internet connection and a monthly subscription of $19.99 or $179.99 for the year. It includes training and motivation from professional coaches, 2 different style of exercises, one similar to Beat Saber known as Flow, and the second is boxing. There's also meditation and stretching routines available. Your workouts are performed in these amazingly beautiful real life and fantasy environments, and the pace is set by hundreds of licensed songs from every genre of music. As I've previously stated, working out in this application is a complete blast. It was extremely easy to come back every single day, and it was amazing how they were able to make a combination of squats, lunges, leg raises, fast feet, and swinging your arms around like a crazy person so much fun. The trainers do an amazing job of keeping you motivated, and I never realized how much fun it could be to work out to different music genres like rap, classical, or EDM. And feel free to call me a boomer, because I still have no idea how people dance to dubstep. Now, I highly prefer Supernatural over traditional cardio. And over the years, I've experimented with everything from P90X to in-class training. And for the longest time, a stationary bike with the TV on was probably my preferred method. For me, Supernatural crushes all of these because it's so much more fun. And when you compare it to other VR fitness applications like FitXR, Powerbeats, or Les Mills Body Combat, it clearly stands above all of them. It's just a much fuller package that's constantly evolving. It's definitely not without issue, which I will go into in a second. Now, if you don't like the idea of sweating inside your virtual reality headset, Supernatural will actually send you a free silicone cover, but many of us don't like the feel of the rubber. And it does come at a premium, but sometimes you truly get what you pay for. If you're curious about it, I recommend you get the 7-day trial and then go from there. Now, going back to some of those issues, When it comes to the boxing, the tracking on the Quest actually encourages you to drop your guard because when your hands are fully up, it interferes with the camera-based tracking hardware. Now, if you're a perfectionist looking for 100% accuracy, tracking can also sometimes get in the way, as this title prefers large sweeping movements, which clearly put the controllers out of the tracking range. Overall, it's a minor issue, but it is occasionally noticeable. Now, even more frustrating, you do need internet access to use this application, which does sort of impact your usability. And it's also not available outside of the United States, something I recently learned to my ultimate frustration while I was vacationing in Europe. Now, I was concerned that the repetitive movements would lead to injury, but that wasn't the case, luckily. And overall, I recommend this application to anyone interested in working out in VR. So start with the 7-day trial and go from there. And if that price tag doesn't feel justified to you, my runner-up would be Les Mills Body Combat, which doesn't require a subscription or internet access and does deliver an excellent workout. Okay, everybody, I would just like to remind you that I took off all my clothes for this video, so please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And as always, I will see you guys on next time.